Hey boys and girls, we're working on our nonfiction unit. We're up to lesson 8 today. And today I'm going to warn you, we're going to have a little bit of going back and forth between the videos so you can see a couple different pages that I'm going to display here in a minute. But what I'm going to teach you right now today is that nonfiction readers monitor their own comprehension. They notice when they're confused or feeling stuck, and they turn to tools and strategies for help. So you have probably found points where you're super confused or stuck, and you've wondered what to do. Maybe you've gone back and reread. And we have a bunch of different strategies that you're going to be able to practice today. And so your learning target is, I can use tools and strategies to help me when I feel stuck or confused while reading complex fiction. And so here's a lot of the different things that we've already read. And you know, these are strategies that we've learned, things that we've tried, and so you can reread those. I displayed them at the end of the last video too. And today we're going to receive these tools that capture some of the challenges you found and offer strategies to help you tackle them, and they're called text complexity cards. Now here's where they're going to get a little bit tricky because it's a two-sided paper. So here's the first side, and you'll notice I started numbering. So I'm going to finish numbering these 3, 4. You can read while I number. And so if you're reading those, this side, oops, that one didn't want to number. This side, if we go up here to number 1, it says the text is long and the connections are separated by lots of text. So if we go to our next page, which you're going to have to go back and forth in the video. Here, if I go to box number 1, we have to summarize often by talking or jotting. Summarize big ideas and supporting details. So most of the time in class we're going to be jotting unless you come up to me and you're like, hey, I want to summarize this out loud. I want to talk to you about this because I am confused and I'm having some trouble. Okay, so let's look at number 2. I'm going to go back. Number 2 says the headings and subheadings don't help. They're misleading. And so if I go back, I'm going to number 2, it says add in headings by annotating or using post-its. So if you look at this illustration, you can write your own heading. You can put a post-it there to say, hey, this is what this is about. It'll help you remember where to find important ideas in the text. So let's look at number 3. There are no headings or obvious chunks, and this just displays tons and tons and tons of text, lots and lots of reading. For many of you, it would be a turnoff. You would quit reading this nonfiction book. So let's see what we can do. It says reword headings to reflect the big idea, what that part is mostly about. Maybe you need to add headings if it's a lot of text. So if we go to 4, the text is dense with lots and lots of details. And sometimes our brain just hurts when we get that many details. So it says be alert for when things remind you of something you read earlier. Go back and reread. Write a note in your notebook. Oh, I read this before. These two things linked together. I now learned. Stuff like that. We go to 5. The text expects an expert reader. It demands prior knowledge. As you already know, no explanation needed. Experts agree. Maybe when you're reading you think, oh, I read a story like this before, or I know this. Those are great things to remember. And it says preview the structures look like for common ones, cause, effect. Okay, so those things link together. Where? Oh. Okay. So the central ideas are not explicit. So remember, implicit is hidden. Explicit means right there in your face, given to you. So expect the text to be about more than one thing. Push yourself to ask, what is it teaching me? What am I learning? There are several big central ideas. Read a lot before trying to explain the big ideas. Use your own words to try and summarize. Think about, stop yourself after you've read a bunch and go, okay, I think the main idea is this. Write down your main idea. Give yourself, when you write down what your main idea is, find that evidence from the text. I think this because, and quote the text. There are many complex hybrid structures, and here are those structures that we talk about over and over and over again with nonfiction. Cause, effect, chronological, main ideas, supporting details, compare, contrast. What can we do? Go find out more, get an easier text, find a website for kids, ask someone who's an expert. Number 9, the captions give more information. Oh my goodness, I have told you time and time again, read everything on the page. Look at the examples, restate, look at the technical terms, go outside go outside the text and find information to help you. The visuals present new information. Study the statistics and the visuals. Don't skip a thing. Read the whole page. Think about why it's important. Think about what it's taught you. Think about, oh, now this in the text makes sense, and link them together and write about it. There are complicated numbers and statistics. Look at these numbers, decimals, percents, graphs. So try to explain why the visuals are there and what are they teaching you. What's here? What did I learn? How does this make more sense? And finally, our last box, our last strategy, is the vocabulary is hard and technical, and it's explained by other hard technical words. So look at that crazy thing. Chromoreceptors serve as natural biosensors. That doesn't even make sense to me. So here we go. Don't skip the captions. If you could find information in the caption that wasn't in the visual or the text. Okay, so there's tons. We just went through tons and tons of ideas really fast. Probably what's going to help you today, boys and girls, is if you keep your video up, just paused, but you might have to go back and forth. Now, I will give you a print copy of these when I get back. And I'll give you a print copy of these so you can use them to help you, because there's a lot of good strategies in here. You might find one or two that are your key go-to strategies that really help you, but for another person, you might pick different strategies, okay? So when do I use the cards? When you're not sure what you just read, and when you're feeling a bit challenged by the text. You're going to think about what part of the text feels hard, what's making it so difficult. Why can't I get this? Okay? And so you're going to use this with texts that you don't understand, texts that are challenging you, and I'm really going to encourage you, go find a different book. Some of you are reading books that are way too easy for you. You don't even have to apply any of these strategies. If you're doing that with easier books, you are not learning. So when you read today, boys and girls, you're going to read. When things get tricky, you're going to think, what's tricky? What can I do? And you're going to have all these new ideas to try. So like I said, you're going to probably have to kind of keep your video up. You're going to have to go back and forth through those pages and figure this out. So you're going to off you go be readers, make me proud.